I'm in the road to carry me on. Sweet Lord, sweet carry on. I'm in the road to carry me on. Something like racism is a sensitive one. Hard to even figure out where it began. It is the reason Jaja made us this way. Why can't we all just get along? Allowing our children to play, showing them a whole better way. Coexisting like the birds of the bee. One human family. I can hear my neighbor cry. I can't breathe. Now I'm in the struggle. I can't leave. Calling out the violence of the racist police. Need to stop to people of me. We ain't gonna stop to people of me. My nation of black people is a wonderful race. You could get lost, you would appreciate the fact that you get 3 shots while we only get 1. Your kids go to college, ours go to oh, hey, my neighbor, crying, I can't breathe. Now I'm in the sun.
Dark brown shade of my skin, only head color to my tears. That splash against my eyeballs, that rocks my soul. Looking back over my past dreams that I once knew, wondering why my dreams never came true. Somebody tell me, what can I do? Something is holding me back. Is it because I'm black? In this world of no pity, I was raised in the ghetto of the city. Mama, she worked so hard to earn every penny. Something is holding me back. Is it because I'm black? Something is holding me back. I'm wondering if it's because I'm black. Inside, 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 where they? Inside, 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 inside. Where you are? Me just a chill inside. Netflix inside, yeah. Mega box inside. Me and my wife are cuddle inside. Food I cook inside. Curry chicken pan the stove, butter bean to the side. Grace, I grade still a bun in a female house, no time the fun can't done. Any man will a virus a wicked. If you not sanitize your hand, then you stupid. Make a TikTok dancing video now, post it. Well a vibes if your phone is not quick. Oh, you know see rummy shade you gone lie. So me can't bore in for the night. Asia text me say bro you a hide. Me say no, you just like can't go inside. What be there? Inside, 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 inside. Where you there? Inside, 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 inside. Where you are? Me no know, but me know who now go out there. I mean, bro, you me just ask if you know, but I keep for your own having this Friday. No, right now me afraid of people. No long me not to see my vehicle. You are do the right thing, bro, your family need you. Me gonna be out on the quarantine, so where me there? Inside, 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 inside. Where you there? Inside, 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 inside. Where you are? I judge.
You know me. Is anyone in?
Yeah, I think 5 people. I seen it. You know what? I was gonna say this video. I've seen this video. If he was lucky, he survived.
Big time. So did someone say to you?
I don't want to come out.
Who's got Bailey, Sophie? That's you. Someone else is connecting. Okay, so there's people there.
Are there more people?
Yeah.
How many?
Kauka, Botang, Local. They're not. The volume's on, yeah. Okay, so it's, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 10 people. Yeah, 10.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming to Kwame and the Lockdown. Sorry about the slight delay there, just a few technical problems. My name is Tony Seeley, and I've been working with some awesome men over the last few weeks, adapting a show that we're about to present to you this evening. So tonight, what's going to happen essentially is that we are going to present a short play called Kwame and the Lockdown for you. And then we would like to invite you to interact with our performance. You're not obliged to, but we want to provoke you in a playful, provocational way to invite you to engage with the problems that exist within the production. More about that later. And then there will be a chance for you to meet all of the cast where you can have a question and answer. And that will give you an opportunity to find out much more about the production, the themes, and of course the men themselves. And if there's any more time after that and people still want to have more insight, we can then have further conversations breaking up into breakout rooms to continue the discussion that perhaps the audience you are interested in exploring. So that's generally going to be it. The whole thing should be finished by about 9 o'clock. We may run slightly over, but we are expecting to wrap up by about 9 o'clock. So before we begin, just a few Zoom etiquette ground rules, agreements, as we all probably should know by now, to have our microphones on mute. There will be an opportunity to do exactly that later on. but for now, if I can ask everybody just to put their microphones on mute. And so the reason for that is that the performance won't get interrupted. It is being recorded for educational and training purposes within the Black Men's Consortium. If you do not want to show your face, that is absolutely fine, but it is being recorded so that you know. And so that's essentially the program for today's performance. Before we begin the performance, I would just like to take some time out just so that we can honor those loved ones that have passed away recently, whether that's due to COVID-19 or whether that's due to the hostile environment, whether that's due to some kind of injustice, or whether that's just down to inequality of health or just age or anything at all. Loved ones that we know that have passed recently or a while ago, I just want to hold space for us to honor those people that have gone before us. So I'm just gonna hold a minute silence starting from now. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. So just before we begin, it would be nice if you want, if we could find out essentially where people are calling from. So if you want to, you don't have to, but if you want to rename yourself, and after your name, you can tell us where you're coming from. So if you want to do that, but you don't have to, you can go to the corner of the box, of your Zoom box, and you'll see 3 little white dots in the corner. If you hit on that and go to the rename, you can actually put your location in, so we know where you're coming from. There, I've put my location in on there. So if you want to do that, you don't have to, but it just helps that we know where you're coming from. So that would be great if for those of you who can. If those of you who want to, it's going to the corner of the Zoom box, right in the top right hand corner. You'll see 3 red 3 white dots. If you just click on that white dot and go into the drop down rename section, and then you can rename yourself if you want to, but you can also put in the location. So without further ado, I am going to bring my actors on stage for them to join today's production. So if I can ask everyone to mute their mics and close your videos so that we can begin the Kwame and the Lockdown. Thank you very much. Just going to get the actors out of the breakout room and then we'll soon get this show on the road. Just bear with me 1 second. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patience. If you can put yourself on mute, if you can mute, ladies and gentlemen, and I present to you Kwame and the Lockdown.
London calling to the underworld. Come out of the cupboard, you boys and girls. London calling.
Hello, Mark. Mark and Kwame, how you doing? You all right? Yeah, not too bad. It was an easy journey down. I've just reached Liverpool Street Station. Is the job still mine? Ah, oh, fantastic. What I'll do is I'll give you a call later on. Oh, you're such a lifesaver, mate. Thanks a lot. All right, nice one. Catch you tomorrow. Bye. Voicemail. Hi, Sarah. Yeah, it's Kwame. I'm back in London. I have such a good feeling about things, you know, now. Like, it's me, you, and the boy, and things are going to be so much better. I've just reached. I'll give you a shout later. Can't wait to see you, babe. See ya. Hello, Dad. It's Kwame. Dad, you're okay? What's going on, Dad? You're all right? Detention center. What's that about, Dad? Oh, we don't need this, Dad. We don't need this. I'm back now. I'll give you a call later. It'll be okay, Dad. All right, bye. Voicemail. Hey, bro, how's it going? I know we're not talking at the moment, but I needed to call you. Dad's got some issue at the moment. Can you give me a call back, please? All right, bye. Sarah? Sarah?
Hi, gentlemen.
Sarah, can you hear me?
And Nicky, when he came out of jail, he had to come in to see Mum.
Sarah,
Hiya, how you doing, darling?
I'm just so happy to be home, babe. What are you doing?
Well, I'm just cooking our favourite meal. Got you a lasagna going.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. I actually bought you a present as well, babe. Look,
Oh, you tuna.
perfume. All right, babe, not a problem. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a seat. I'll watch the TV. Is that right?
Yeah, you're back home now, man. Just make yourself at home, honey.
All right, thanks a lot, babe.
Confirmation that there.
Good evening. This is Trevor McDonald reporting from the BBC. The government is facing increasing
Watch the clouds go by.
UK, where it's St James's Park, where Newcastle currently trail FA Cup holders Manchester City by 1-0. 735 teams entered this year's competition. Only 4 will remain at the final whistle. And to make the semi-final draw, it's the Newcastle legend. We'll never get to it.
Not open, is it? From what the work they was doing before.
All-time leading scorer and helped Blackburn win the title in 1995. After joining Newcastle, his goals in FA Cup. That's Alan. That's as far as it got in terms of the FA Cup. It's never quite got your hands on the famous old.
Evening. News report from Southwest London. News just in: supermarkets are running out of stock. Toilet roll running out. Food shortages. Mass gatherings and fights. Do not overbuy. Do not conduct mass gatherings. Stop fighting. This is the world is in pandemonia. The world is no longer as you know it. You need to stay home and stay safe. Good night, James Douglas, Evening News.
Hey there, this is Tony Harrison, reporting from the KAP News in downtown Chicago on the BMC network. Disturbing news. Almost half of the USA coronavirus deaths have been Black Americans, as the deadly virus has the communities at a disturbing rate. More than 20,000 African Americans, at 1 in 2,000 of the entire Black population of the USA, have died from the disease. Donald Trump told thousands of supporters on Saturday that he asked officials to slow down testing of COVID-19 cases because they were rising. My gosh! Speaking at the campaign rally in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the USA president used racist language referring to COVID-19 as Kung Fu, describing testing for the virus as a double-edged sword because it led to infestation of more cases. The USA has tested 25 million people, far more than any other country. Trump said, when you do testing to that extent, you're gonna find more people, you're gonna find more cases. So I said to my people, slow down the testing. The White House official later told Reuters Trump was joking. This is Tony Mortimer, reporting from the K News in downtown Chicago on the BMC network.
This is Trevor McDonald reporting from the BBC. The government have now been facing increasing embarrassment of the handling of the Windrush scandal. It is reported that 83 Afro-Caribbeans have now been deported back to the Caribbean. In other news, the government has decided to vaccinate frontline key workers as a drive to prove that equality exists in our communities. Trevor McDonald's, over and out.
There is pandemonium in Minneapolis following a black man's death by a policeman's knee. The whole world is up in arms due to this constant misjustice. Some are requesting a blackout of all businesses except for black business. This town is going up in flames. At home, questions are being asked why taxpayers were contributing to the debt arisen from slavery. This was up to 2015. Why wasn't this written off?
Babe, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up?
The news was just insane. Did you hear what's going on? COVID, BLM, what's going on?
Yeah, it's crazy out there at the moment. There's a lot of protests around Black Lives Matter.
1 second, babe. My phone's ringing. 1 sec.
All right, all right.
Hello, Mark? Yeah, it's Kwame. How you doing? You all right? Okay, the job. What's going on with the job? Oh, okay. Do you have part-time then? I need the money. I really need the money. Anything, like, I don't mind journeying an hour or 2 hours. I need the job, you know? Can you help me out? Come on, Mark, please. Oh, friggin' hell.
What's up?
Oh. Can you come out here, babe?
Oh, I'm just finishing off the sauce for the lasagna.
Yeah, I understand, but I need to talk to you. Can you come out here, please?
Whoa, just a bit. Right, what's up, babe? What's up? What's going on?
So you know the job I said I had. I don't seem to have the job anymore, babe.
What?
Calm down. It's not that serious. I can get another job. Look, there must be loads of jobs at the moment. I can get another one. It's me, you, and the little one.
People are in furlough. People aren't working now. What do you mean you ain't got a job?
Why can't you just support me? I haven't been around in ages, and I've come back with so much hope, so much joy, so much care and love to make things work.
That's all you ever gave is hope and all these platitudes. But you just don't come off with anything. You always, when you step back in our lives, there's always a drama with you. A drama.
You don't support me. That's the problem. You know, you're not there for me. I've just come back. I've had mental issues. I've had all stuff going on, and I come to see you, you know? You're my first visit.
You and your mental health issues. What about me? What about our son? You haven't seen him in 5 years. Mental. I'm the one that's going mental. You made me sick.
No, I can't do this, you know? Forget you.
There we go. That's all you ever do. Run away. Run away. You never face up as a man. You're a waster. Waster.
Oh, now. I say, oh, now. I say, oh, now. Stop the fussing and the fighting, brothers.
Dad? And what's wrong?
Oh, what's going on?
Dad, what's going on?
They're coming to take me tomorrow. Home office.
Home office? What's going on, Dad?
Yeah, they're right. You remember the letter that I had to show you? I was too scared to show you. They said, I've got to go. They said, I'm not legal here. I got to go.
These letters came about 2 weeks ago.
I know, but I was scared when I was reading it. What it says, Don? What it said?
It's in the Home Office asking for your documents in order for you to stay in this country. Why did you not show me this, Dad?
I'm confused. How can you live in the house? Dad gets letters, doesn't understand the letters, and what? You're then saying, so
now you're Mr. Big Man, are you? You've been away for 5 years, and you're going to tell me how I'm supposed to run this house?
You're useless. Dad, don't worry, I'll sort it out.
I'm useless? You're useless.
They're coming for me tomorrow.
We're in isolation, we're in a lockdown. You can't even come in this house. What do you mean I'm useless? You haven't been here for 5 years.
But if you were my brother, you'd have problems. You're useless.
Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, I'm useless, right? Listen, I got no time for you. You even got a job. I bet you went to Sarah's for house first before you came here. I bet you're asking for money.
I didn't ask
Dad,
any
listen,
money.
Dad,
Dad, I'll sort it out. I've got to go. I can't deal with this fraction.
Your mother gone. Your mother gone. I'm going as well. I want to see you again.
Dad, listen, Dad, leave it be, right? We got to sort this out because...
Don't leave me.
God, we got to sort this out.
British multiculturalism, with those who arrived in the UK in the late 1940s often referred to as the Windrush generation. This wave of newcomers faced social and economic exclusion upon arrival and were regularly denied private employment and accommodation on the basis of race. Over the following years, the Caribbean community often faced racial prejudice and violence, and during the 1960s and 1970s, the government passed new legislation to impose stricter immigration controls. The 1971 Immigration Act restricted primary immigration to the UK, that allowed Commonwealth citizens already in the country indefinite leave to remain. However, the Home Office did not issue paperwork confirming the status of those who arrived before 1971, leaving of the Windrush generation in 2018 facing the prospect of deportation from the country they have called home for decades.
A chain is as strong as its weakest link. Each one is brother's keeper. As a unity is the foundation of survival. Got to let you know.
Mark, Daniel, you home?
Yo.
Yes.
You're right. I haven't seen you guys in ages, man.
Hey, Kwame.
Yeah.
How you doing, man? You all right?
Kwame. How's your head, Kwame? How's your head?
Yeah, it's okay. I've had a day and a half, guys. I need some cash, you know? Do you got any work going? You got any jobs, anything like that?
Look, Kwame, there's no work. Look, my wife is due to be deported, maybe, because she can't find her passport with some offence that happened back in 2002. And now she's going to be deported. Look, everyone might be losing their job to corona, whatever it's called.
Kwame, right now is not a good time for jobs, you know. Look at this, everything set. People have jobs, they might get 80% on their money, and them not get no money. They not get the full money. So everybody depend, you know, reduce money. Looks like depression will reach us now. So why job? The only jobs that they have is in Africa now, bro.
I get that, but I'm not going to Africa.
Oh, don't start that. Don't start that.
I'm not going to Africa. But you can't help me out. Any spare cash?
Get on your knees and pray. Pray, Kwame, pray.
I'm not
praying
about. Man.
Well, at the time now for the entrepreneur, man, you have to come up with something, man. Just try a thing, because just work for the man them and them just come in, build up the country, and they just want to deport us. You see how it go? So that you is next, man. We are is next.
Not right. It's not right. But 1 second, my phone's ringing. 1 sec. Hello.
Hello, Kwame. It's Delroy here. Listen.
How's it going, bro? You all right? What's up?
Yeah, the immigration officer that they're trying to take that away. They're trying to. I don't know.
You're being serious.
I'm being serious.
They're gonna deport me. Them calm them outside.
I don't know why they do.
Excuse me, sir. If you calm down, just calm down. Don't resist your arrest. We've got a warrant.
Have you got a right to be in a house? You've got no right to be in a house.
You need to stand back, sir. We have a warrant to arrest this person. His name is Kwame. His name is Kingsley. So I do apologise, but we're going to arrest him now. So stand back.
On what grounds you arrest him for? You meant to come yesterday. We meant to gather the papers for yesterday. Okay, what are you coming now for?
Right. Excuse me, Kingsley. We need to take you into custody.
Dad, we'll sort it out. Dad, we'll sort it. Don't worry.
Listen, Kwame, I can't talk. Kwame, I can't talk now. I gotta sort this out, okay? Okay, I gotta sort this out.
Come on, do not resist the arrest, sir.
No. You leave my dad alone. Seriously, leave my dad alone.
Yeah, here we go. Come on, there you go. In the van, get in the van. Let's go.
Kwame!
Don't worry, Dad. What detention center you send him to? Can you tell me that at least?
It's on the paperwork, sir. Here you go. It's on the paperwork. Let's go. Come on, guys. We've got to go.
Kwame, what's happening?
Mate,
You worried?
Big problems. They're taking my dad.
Why?
Yeah, mad. Who's got a car? I need some support, man. Who's got a car?
Look, Daniel, put down your spliff. Let's take him. Come on.
Right,
Why?
please,
Come.
go.
Me ready, man. Go on.
Okay. Oh, this is the last one. Good evening. This is the Prime Minister here. Bumbling Boris Johnson here with our last 5 p.m. update because everybody is getting bored and the nation is, quite frankly, not listening to us. What we need to do is to keep the R rate down. I've actually forgotten what the R rate stands for. However, I continue to urge everybody to be very, very cautious and stay alert. Something that we can't see. Strange thing to say, but stay alert for something we can't see. And now I've decided that the 2 meter rule will be 1 meter, which is 1 meter less than 2 meter, so as not to confuse you all. I've decided this because I'd like to go to a restaurant. I'd even like to have my hair cut. Oh, sorry. You know it is. And most of all, humbly, I'd like to play golf and play in the village cricket team. I love a bit of cricket, you see. However, until that baffling head, when it comes, another boob thing, we can't go to the 0 meter, I'm afraid so. So hopefully, Donald Cummins, please don't mess things up again. Could you cause me enough of a heartache? Anyway, our fantastic track, race, and trek. Oh, that's the 3 T's, you know. It's so amazing. It doesn't work. Hancock has assured me it will be ready by September, despite secretly installing the app on all your smart devices without your consent. That's how smart we are. That is all. Remember, it's all about the science. It's all about the science. People should, of course, enjoy themselves and go to the beach, even though we haven't opened the toilets. Just remember your hand sanitizer. On a serious note, black, minority, ethnic groups have faced discrimination, especially in face of serious criminal law. For that, we cannot ignore it. And I'm proud to be the most diverse and the bestest Prime Minister to lead the government in fighting the democracy and fighting crime. I'm going off track. But for that, we cannot ignore. The country had made huge strides since the 1970s in the horror of the National Front on our British streets. But I truly believe that we are much, much less racist in this society than we've ever been, and more happier and better. But we must wage war on racial prejudice. The government that I lead will do its utmost to deal with this because Black Lives Matter. But I will not support those who flout the rules because the rules are there and not to be broken, unless you're Dominic Cummings. Oh, did I say it? Never mind. We shouldn't break the law or attack the police or discredit the public heritage. We have a democracy in this country. The United Kingdom is a great place. This month, we celebrate the Empire of Windrush in 1948, and we remember the contribution of the Afro-Caribbean workers in the NHS and all public services, especially those who drove buses, you know. That's what my father told me. who were there to rebuild our great British country, the United Kingdom, after the Second World War. Once again, we face a great task with the coronavirus. So let's work peacefully and lawfully to defeat racism, discrimination, wherever we find it. Let us continue to work with all nations as we put Britain back on its feet, because Black Lives Matter. This is Boris, probably Boris. Goodbye.
Until the philosophy which hold one race superior and another inferior is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned. Everywhere is war. It's a war. Until they're no longer first class and second class citizens of any nation. Until the color of a man's skin is of no more significance than the color of his eyes. Miss a war. That until the basic human rights are equally guaranteed to all without regard to race. And it's war. That until that day.
I'm waiting for you, Dad. Can you get Kings?
I'm coming.
Can you get my dad, Kingsley, please? Yes, he's in there somewhere.
I'm coming. I hear you, son. Is that right?
Yes, Dad.
You come?
Yeah, Dad, I'm here as well. I made it. How you doing, Dad?
You come to take me home?
We're getting there, Dad.
I'm having a bit of problems finding your passport and stuff, Dad, because I've got a fantastic barrister. She's, we've got all the documents except for your passport. We need your passport, Dad.
What do you mean? You said I was going home in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, Dad, it's tricky. We just need all the documents. Where are they, Dad? Are they upstairs? Mum's got them. Who's got them?
When Maureen was alive, she didn't deal with all them. The passport is there in the house somewhere.
Dad, I've checked up and down the house. I've checked every single hiding place you've ever had. I can't find them, and we need those documents, Dad. We really do. The barrister I've hired is costing us a fortune. It really, and she doesn't charge, but she charges by the hour. So, do you want me to? Who can I call, Dad?
The money save up, so that the money is no problem. Find the passport, please. I want to come home.
Dad, where is the passport? Give us a clue. We're going to search when we go home, but we just need some guidance. Where is your passport?
All right. I remember in the attic we used to have a special little ottoman in the attic right at the back.
Dad, I've looked up there. It's not there. This is the situation here. The barrister costs about £200 an hour. Okay, we can't afford using this barrister all the time, but she's doing the best she can, Dad.
You got that right. You know what you mean? You got that right. You get a job first.
What are you
Hey, listen, do you mind? This is private. This is a private conversation.
Watch it, boy. Watch your language.
No, don't call me boy. I'm not your boy. All right?
Go away, officer, with my sons.
Dad,
Move.
calm down. It's okay. Dad, calm down.
Dad.
We're just talking. Let us talk, please.
Calm down, or your visit will be terminated. Calm down, boy. Calm down.
Excuse me, you call me boy one more time. I tell you what, look, just...
You're right. Dad's not well. Dad, you're right.
My heart,
Dad,
since I've come in here, I've been having problems with my heart. I've never had these problems before.
Excuse me, officer. Can you make sure that somebody cares to our dad while also away? Can somebody care for him?
Oh,
he's obviously in serious pain.
Now you want to talk to me, boy. Oh, interesting. But anyway,
don't call me boy, okay? Don't call me boy. You just have to do your job.
Delroy, take it easy. Calm down, Delroy. Officer White, Dad's not well. Can you help me, please?
Yeah, don't worry. His kind will be taken care of. Don't you worry about that.
You by his kind. What, black people? We're black boys. What's up?
Listen, I didn't say anything about black. You did, but if the shoe fits,
Don't, sons, because when you gone, his problems, him is different. He's a different one.
Sorry, Dad, listen to me. We're going to get you out of this place. I promise you that. We'll get you out of this place. I'm going to go back and talk to the barrister. There must be other ways we can get you out of this place, okay? Trust us, Dad.
All right. I'm looking forward to
Listen, you guys, you've got 30 seconds. Wind it up like the monkey nuts. Wind it up. Come on, hurry up.
Listen, mate, you're lucky not outside because I'm out of here. I'm out of here. Dad, I'll see you soon.
Come on, you. Say your goodbyes, mate. Come on, just keep going. Come on.
And despite colonization, 25,000 Caribbeans served in the First World War and Second World War alongside British troops. When my parents and their generation arrived in this country under the Nationality Act of 1948, they arrived here as British citizens. It is inhumane and cruel for so many of that Windrush generation to have suffered so long in this condition, and for the Secretary of State only to have made a statement today on this issue. Can she explain how many have been deported? She suggested earlier that she would ask the High Commissioners. It is her department that has deported them. She should know the number. Can she tell the House how many have been detained as prisoners in their own country? Can she tell the House how many have been denied health under the National Health Service? How many have denied pensions? How many have lost their job? This is a day of national shame, and it has come about because of a hostile environment.
Oh, what a shame. Me not know what's going on. 2 weeks ago, me see Kingsley, him come to a congregation, and then we hear him got taken in some kind of meat wagon, and lo and behold, the man died of COVID. Him died of COVID. You can't give me head round it.
Pastor, boy, it's a shame, man, it's a shame. Because look how him come from foreign and come here for work, build up the country, build up the community, and then they try to dip him. And then the next thing you know, him sick, and him dead from corona. Me think that the system I try to kill him, you know. The system I try to kill him.
For me, it's crazy. It's crazy. Dad was here just the other day, you know. I was with him, you know. I've come back and things were good. I'm just lost on how can my dad be dead?
Me can't tell about the system. All I know is me and Kingsley, we run together, we play together, we adulthood together, and him died of COVID.
Would you stop it, Pastor? My dad did not die of COVID, okay? What? He died of hypertension because of the system, the stress the system put on his heart. The Home Office were badgering for 2 weeks. He had a pile of letters, all right? So stop saying he died of COVID.
I know you're grieving. I don't know anything about letters. I don't know anything. All I know is I've known him all my life, and I know him before you were born, and all I know is him die of COVID. That's what I hear.
But yeah, what you hear, you know what, Reverend? Did you actually come to the house and ask me what he died of? No, you did not come. Did you come and visit him in the detention center? No, you did not. All he did is drinking his whiskey now, right?
I know you're grieving.
Calm down.
Calm it down.
Listen, Kwame, stop telling me to calm down, right? You haven't been here for 5 years. Stop telling me to calm down.
You're just
all right? I've been looking after Dad.
Just calm it, man.
Yes.
Calm it.
I agree. I know you're angry. I know you're grieving the loss of your father, who was a great man. But he died.
You don't know my grieving.
He was a good man.
You don't know my grieving. All right? You don't know what my dad been under the last few days. You don't know. You have no understanding.
You're angry.
You're like the passive lot. You're the passive generation who let the system control you. And this is what happened. You didn't demonstrate, did nothing.
Young man, nobody will control me apart from the Lord. Show some respect. Your father just lying there behind us. He is still in the room. This is maybe the time or the place to anger your vent, your system on the system that's been wrong done by you.
You know what?
We
I'm
need.
angry not of the system. I'm angry with you and your
What?
lot.
Me?
You know what? I got no time for you. Got no time for you lot. My dad's
You've gone too
because of
far.
the system, and then you lot coming back. Oh, you know what? The system, this and this. You did nothing to stop the system.
But what are you doing?
Override you.
Kwame, please talk to your brother. Kwame, talk to your brother.
Absolutely useless. You know what? Rather than us sitting here and just talking nonsense, I'm going to make a stand. I'm going to put my flag down. You know, I'm going to protest. You know why? Because Black Lives Matter.
I'm with you.
You off with your protest. You always right. You off with your protest. Bloody protest. What? I'm out of here. You lot make me sick.
Yeah, yes, Daniel.
You're gonna put one him, but we have to catch Kwame on the march. Y'all come march?
Well, hold up. I'm gonna come. I don't want to come.
We have to, man. We have to protect him, man, because you don't know how this thing I go, you know.
Oh, well. Listen, let me just say a verse before I leave, okay?
Yes, that would be nice. That would be nice. Say a nice sermon for Kingsley. Nice sermon for Kingsley.
Yeah.
For Kingsley.
Though I walk through the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. And this country is evil. Did you know that up until 2015, we was paying back the debt that was paid to slave owners because of slave owners, the compensation? Did you know that? Us black people and everybody else is paying that debt.
Okay. I'm sorry. I cannot be a part of this. Today is to celebrate the loss of a good man. If you want to preach issues and situations and conspiracies, I will take no part in that. Kingsley, God bless your soul, young man. I have to go now. Goodbye.
Take care, Pastor.
Let's go.
Mark, let's go on the march, man. Let's go on the march. Ready?
Listen, yo, black is what? Black is great. Black is someone that they want to imitate. Hear what I'm saying? Make no mistake when I say that I'm proud to be black all day. Okay, let's chat about racing things. Heads in a different space and thing. If you're black or mixed racing things, we be thinking things that need to stop. Put the federal cops. It's all good when a black man drops, but it's not cool when a man gets to the top. What? When I walked into the shop, why am I getting watched? Wait, all them fancy things in your museum got one question. Where did you get them from? I love it, man. Won't put nothing above it, man. I'm black. Cause of my colour, man. They think that I'm another man. I'm black. That's my brother and my sister from the motherland. Black. You can't silence me. I'm black. They wanna teach me cause I'm black.
Black Lives Matter. Black
Lives
Lives
Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter.
White lives matter.
You got to stand strong, boys. Stand strong. Okay? Pride in your appearance, pride in who you are. We are black people. Stand strong. Remember that.
Remember,
we are black. We are proud.
Yeah, remember, black and white unite. Black and white unite. Black and white unite. Black and white unite.
I don't want to unite with no white people. I'm black and proud.
And I'm white and I'm proud and I don't really want to know these black people.
I don't care.
Their own country.
Black lives matter. Black lives matter. Black lives matter.
Black lives matter.
Mixed race lives matter. Black and white unite.
Until the philosophy which old one race superior and another inferior is finally permanently disputed and abandoned. Everywhere is war. It's a war that until they're no longer first class and second class citizens of any nation, until the color of a man's skin is of no more significance than the color. me, I will always be there. On this journey where Jah put me, well if I things my weakness, negative thoughts and unfair heart I play well like a sickness. Now the youth them have a hit list on every stall and most business. Helicopters are certain. Yeah, like a first string. Unsolved mystery, man, that can't find big name. Message in the music is the sound power if you hand up if you with me. Now go make them trick we talk, but now repeat the history. I said, whoa, what them I go do when Jah come on? Don't bring no, thy will always be done.
Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, that is the end of the performance. You can turn your mics on to give appreciation to the cast. That's the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have one more treat for you. One of the cast members is going to be singing a song for us. Well, take it away, sir. Trevor.
Yeah, thank you all for watching our show. Yeah, it just really typifies that as a people, we are strong and we are very, very resilient. The higher you build your barriers, the taller I become. The further you take my rights away, the faster I will run. You can deny me, you can decide to turn your face away. No matter, 'cause there's something inside so strong. I know that I can make it, though you're doing me wrong, so wrong. You thought that my pride was gone, but oh no. Something inside so strong. Oh, something inside so strong. Dun, 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 dun. The more you refuse to hear my voice, the louder I will sing, 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 sing. You hide behind walls of Jericho. Your lies will come tumbling. Deny my place in time. You squander wealth that's mine. My light will shine so brightly it will blind you. Something inside so strong. I know that I can make it, though you're doing me wrong, so wrong. You thought that my pride was gone, but oh no. Something inside so strong. Oh, something inside so strong. Brothers and sisters, when they insist we're just not good enough, no, no. Well, we know better. Just look them in the eyes and say, we're gonna do it anyway. 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 Something inside so strong. I know that I can make it, though you're doing me wrong, so wrong. You thought that my pride was gone, but oh no. Something inside so strong. Oh, something inside too strong. Oh, something inside so strong. Oh, something inside so strong.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Trevor, please. Trevor Minto.
Oh, Trevor, what up?
So I'd like at this stage to call all the performers on stage. I'd like to have all the performers on stage, please, so that the audience can see you in your full glory. Calling all performers, they want to see you in your full performance glory. Calling you all, calling you all, calling you all. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, boys and girls, can we just give them another round of applause, please? They've done such a tremendous job. They'd love to hear your appreciation. Can we give them some love?
Clap myself if I have to around here.
Everyone's still muted.
At this point, you can unmute yourselves.
Yeah, I can clap myself. I'll clap
Where's the sound
myself.
effects? What's going on? Cutbacks, budget.
Oh, gee.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you can just, give them a bit of a round of applause, that would be really helpful. Just again, I know some of you are muted, but I'm going to ask you to unmute your mic and just to show some.
Well done, guys. Well done. Brilliant. Good stuff.
This is my show. Move.
Thank you. So it's now I'd like you, the audience, if you'd like to ask any questions to the cast on their production, the themes that have come up in the production, essentially anything that you would like to ask them, because they have been working extremely hard to pull this production together. We've done the production last month in May, where we performed during Mental Health Awareness Week, and the men have been working quite hard since then to tweak the show to bring it more contemporarily up to date, certainly with the situations of Windrush the other day and the movement of Black Lives Matter that is circling the planet as we speak. So I'd like to, if you have a question, please raise your hand or put up a question in the chat and we can ask the cast members a bit of a Q&A. So who'd like to start us off with some questions about anything that you'd like to ask the cast members from Black Men's Consortium? Any takers for now? Well, perhaps I could begin the proceedings if there's no takers at this stage. If you've got a question, just put it in the chat. Can I ask you all, I suppose one question is, how have you been coping during this show with your mental health, and how are you supporting each other?
Well, I can jump in on this one. I think these performances and these plays have helped us as a team get together and show support and have more interactions than we'd normally have in a similar environment if we didn't have anywhere else to go or anyone else to talk to. So the play that the practicing for these performances brought us all together. We do check-ins, we do check-outs to see people's mental health and also interact and release our stresses and so forth through our performances and our plays. So I think it's been very helpful for us as a team and moving forward, and also creating awareness of the current situations that we currently find ourselves in.
Thank you, Kirk. Anybody else want to answer that question? How have you been supporting yourselves during the show and as a group of men working.
Okay, maybe can I go next, guys?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. Okay, so for me, I came across the drama group, sort of Black Men's Consortium group in Feb. And since and during this time, I've developed friendships and a camaraderie amongst us all. And obviously, when you're meeting new people, it's all about developing relationships, forming them. And let's be honest, we've all had our own meltdown situations, yeah? But what we haven't done is totally walk away. Totally is the operative word. We haven't totally walked away from each other. And we have mutually supported each other along our different processes. So really for me, that's really helped my own mental health, and it shows resilience, it shows oneness, you know, and it shows us vulnerability, but also the ability to also make ourselves mutually accountable and supportive of each other in our moments of experience. So it's been a positive experience for me.
Yeah, just to jump in there and add to that as well, it's been a very sort of surreal experience, because prior to March the 22nd or whatever date it was that Boris put the lockdown, we were actually meeting in person, and then all of a sudden we could not meet together. Yet we've managed to, we all from different walks of life in the whole of England. We got Trevor from Birmingham, we got Stephen from East London, I'm originally from South London, William's from South London. We're all from all over the place, but yet we still managed to come together with Zoom. So I want to thank Zoom for that, in order to share our times when we've come together on a Monday. We put this together, we rehearsed. So this has been great, and also with Tony as well, that's been able to still do his creative, amazing techniques in order to bring this together. So I think for me, meeting on the Monday evening to check in, as Kirk had said, has brought us all together still, because I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now on my Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays if I can't see you guys, if I can't meet together, just to express my sort of my feelings. My work schedule is I still had to work in the frontline staff, so I couldn't have any time off. So this has brought me, it's been fantastic for me to be able to perform our Kwame the Lockdown for the third time. Is absolutely amazing under the restraints and the circumstances that we're all in our probably own different bedrooms or kitchens or whatever. We still managed to perform this for you guys this evening. So for that, I think yet again, who's that then? For that, I think we should give ourselves a big clap again. We did an amazing job. Do is when we do check in and check out, we hand it over. So I'm going to hand it over to Michael. There you go.
Black Lives Matter and everything. I just want to say,
Kwame.
A massive thank you to the team. It's as Trevor did allude to, it has been up and down. We've had some rough moments. We've had moments of near on falling out and people leaving groups and stuff, but we've stuck together. There's been unity, which has been great. It's been an experience for me. I've been furloughed and I'm still furloughed now. I've not met any of the guys one-to-one. So it's just phone conversations and Zoom meetings and stuff. So it's been a challenging experience at times, but one that I can say is quite rewarding. I can look back and I can say, look, I spent my time with these guys doing rehearsals, doing performances, and we've got something to show for it. For me, a massive thank you for the team. And thank you to the audience that have actually taken the time on Sunday to tune in and watch us on Zoom. I know Zoom is not the easiest platform to work, and there was a few times that we could hear someone's background or some babies in the background or this was going on, but that's what happens when you use Zoom. So as I want to say once again, thank you, and fingers crossed, yeah, we get our lockdown fairly soon. I pass it on to Willem, if he's on. Captain William.
Unmute, Will, and unmute.
Zoom mute.
I'm still getting used to Zoom. I'm trying not to echo what everybody else has said. I think for me, the learning part, I think probably what Michael has said, because we haven't actually, as human beings, there's a desire to meet people face to face. And there's a certain energy you get out when you meet people, whereas when you're in a screen, you can't sense that energy. And so we had to go beyond. We had to go beyond that energy. We had to go beyond that energy. We had to go beyond that energy. And I think, you know, there's a lot going in our society at the moment. We have Black Lives Matter, we have this Corona, we have a lot going. And I think this type of platform, I think everybody should try and get on some kind of similar platform just to communicate with each other, because, you know, being self-isolated or whatever system you call it, it's hard on the human spirit. And I think platforms like this allow you to, as I think Kirk said, you know, meet up and have a check-in, like Keith said, have a check-in, have a check-out, you know, and just let everybody know how you feel, and also wonder how everybody else feels. And you realize that you're not the only person that's feeling that way. We all feel similar ways.
Yeah.
It makes life a little easier. So I'm going to pass it on to Steve. Is that Brenda? Oh, you, Brenda? Let me pass it on to Brenda then. She just joined in.
No, sorry. I'm not me.
And that's my mum, yeah? That's my mum.
Whose mum? Whose mum's that?
Whose mum? Michael's.
Hi, Michael's mum. How you doing, Michael's mum?
Oh, we can't see you, Brenda. Can we see you now that you're speaking?
Oh, my God.
Come on, Brenda. Where are you?
Show yourself.
We got Michael's mum and Michael's brother, I believe.
Yeah, come on. We need to see Kwame's. Sorry, come on.
They go and shine out. Anyway, I'm going to pass on to Steve. Stephen, have you spoken yet?
I haven't. No.
I'll pass on to Stephen.
I did love doing this performance. First of all, I joined to maybe help other people, because I've got a very long experience of mental health difficulties, and I thought I could come in this because of my recovery process to help others. Then it became like a therapy to me, but I don't feel the same about it really as I did when I first joined. I'll be blatant about it. I did put together a piece of work to add to it, and then it was completely guarded and changed just like that. We didn't even get to discuss the reason why I actually put those views across. All I wanted to do is give an alternative view, and that was completely ignored. So I'm not the same as everyone else. I feel a bit disgruntled, and I probably will leave. But that's how I feel.
Are you going to pass it on to Stephen?
I passed on to Tony.
Thank you. I wonder if there is possible that we could introduce the audience to some of the wider group of the Black Men's Consortium. We have some steering group members in the house. We've got Selwyn, we've got Barbara, we've got Donald. I wondered if you would be open to come and say something as a steering group member. Donald, Selwyn, Lloyd.
Hello.
Barbara.
Hello.
Hello, we can hear you loud and clear.
Right, Donald. Yes, there's been developments and changes, and we hope to see that there are new services and opportunities happen. Like anything, groups
say who you
have
are?
their teething problems. Hello?
You want to say a little bit about who you are?
Oh, sorry. Donald Slosh, currently the chairperson. Previously worked in various other charities and groups across dominating Lambeth. My main thing is in dyslexia, because that's where I set up a national organisation and went international. I've worked with other mental health groups to help them develop as well. And I've worked with various community groups. But we work on different levels, from community stuff going on your doorstep to debating, getting lobbying going on in the House of Commons, House of Lords, we managed to get the government to change some of the rules and regulations because of that and deliver new contracts. So there's a wide range, and it will take you all evening for me to explain everything I do. But for the main thing about Black Men's Consortium, that it's growing and it's moving, and people wanting to link with us. And it's still the Black Men's drama group and therapy, but we've now added counselling because we linked up with a professional counsellor, and then we've expanded that so because people wanted to have that outlet where they could actually speak their minds and so forth with somebody professionally there to listen and to help in that direction. But as we go on, we're also aiming to develop new resources because it isn't just about therapy classes and so forth. It's about activities. It's about family, that you've got to be able to interact with your families and your friends and the workplace. So it's about then gaining those skills as well. But these all take time. And at the end of the day, we're a bunch of volunteers and we're on lockdown and we're still having to do this. We've got new things happening and people coming through because of some of the things I did with Channel 5 recently. So that opened up the doors to a whole bunch of people. The rest are, we've got people like Barbara. She's got extensive experience lobbying, campaigning. She's responsible for the policy guidance that Lambeth are trying to adhere to and work to right now on Black men and mental health. So there's a rife of people. Selwyn, he's got his background working in the lockdowns, the prison service and so forth, youth offenders, justice team. Then there's Lloyd, I don't know if he's on, again, he works in the service. So there's a wealth of experience and knowledge. And then we're also going to look to what we've got within the membership to see what their experience and knowledge is so that they can bring forward their skills. So that's a quick summary of a huge pile of work going on at the moment.
Thank you, Donald. Is Barbara or Selwyn available?
Hi. Hi, can you hear me, guys?
Loud and clear.
Okay, great. I mean, Donald has mentioned part of what I've been involved in. I've been involved in the system and mental health for the last, I like to call it mental well-being. I've said that several times because, again, engaging with especially Black men in the system, there's this word that, you know, too often is counterproductive with individuals getting help and the stigma that's connected to that. I've seen the prison situation, how it works. I've seen the bad behavior of staff, right down to them trying to inject people but not being able to do it when I'm on shift. I've seen all of that. I think, again, right now, woke up this morning as an independent representative. I'm counseling people all the time, you know, from my experience and on the ground, you know, friends and family members have gone through this thing. So for me, that's how it's personal. I'm very, very inspired about everything that's going on in regards to group. I think this is no time now at the present to actually hit the ground running. The future is bright, and I believe that we can collectively do things. Again, about people's time, we're all volunteers. Just really and truly, my modus operandi is the group moving forward effectively. Donald mentioned the Channel 5 thing. Again, I knew the gentleman, so we tried to get that, and we did actually get that running. That gives the group access, and that's important in how the group's developing. So I've done many things. I've been involved in dyslexia and stuff like that. I've been involved in over 30 different organizations over the last few years, in and out. I know a lot of people, got a lot of experience. And again, personally, I've seen how bad this system is towards Black gentlemen. And again, I want to try and change the stigma in regards to what they say, especially in in regards to black therapy. Any option to actually change that, I want that to be part of our modus operandi, so we can not we can access what we need to in the system, but vision new different routes in regards well-being of black individuals. So basically, that's me.
Thank you, Selwyn.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear.
I've known you over 30 years, Tony, so that's something as well. We've known each other for a long time. So, you know what I mean? It's like, my vision is just like making things work and making the positivity of the group actually hit people that can now do things in regards black men in mental health and black people in mental health. It's very important that we actually get that right. So that's where I am.
Thank you. Can I ask the cast members, how did you come up with themes in the show? Because they're quite impactful. And how did you decide on those particular themes, and why those particular angle did you take on the themes that you took? Anybody?
I can dive in. I'll dive in. I think it was a mixture of discussions, because originally we were going to have, I think it was Kwame, he was just coming out of prison, and then he was then trying to get used to the situation that he was now embarking upon, which is being COVID-19, trying to find work, having mental health issues, and then trying to go down that narrative. But we decided through communication and just trying to change the narrative that we thought it would be better to stay away from the stereotypes that always go with young black guys, you know, prison, drugs and stuff of that nature, and try to keep it more above board and a bit more clean cut. So that was some of the stuff that we had in our mini discussions, and the story was changing as the weeks went on. But I pass it over to Keith because I'm sure he wants to say something.
Okay. I mean, I just threw the kind of USA mark on it because, again, a lot of our brothers and sisters from across the water are being equally wrong done by. So that's why I brought in the kind of American side of it, and as opposed to what we thought was happening here in England, which is equally disgusting. But a lot of African Americans in America are equally being dying to COVID, equally being persecuted and wrong done by the law. So that was why I just put that little theme in there about the amount of people that are dying from COVID-19, and also Donald Trump. Do you know what? I'm not going to much say about Donald Trump. I'll probably get myself into a lot of trouble, other than the fact that, yes, I'm going to say it because I was asked, should I say it earlier? Donald Trump, regardless of what people think, is a twat. I'm sorry, I've said it now. Get trouble. So sorry. Anyway, I'm not sorry. No, I'm not sorry. He is a twat. Anyway, that's all I've got to say, because he's not helpful at all. He's not helping anybody, whether you're black or white, but black people at the moment, he is not helping us. And he is basically being disrespectful. So I wanted to throw that in there just for that angle. And that's for Boris. He's a bumbling, baffling, biddly, diddly, doddly dog. And you never see him because he just runs. He's one of those people that play 40-40 and they run away, hide under a car, and then everyone else gets in trouble. I'm sorry, but Boris, you're just whatever. Other than that, that's what I've got to say, because I'll start and I won't stop. So I'm going to hand it over to Kingsley before I get into trouble. Trevor.
To Kingsley. Okay, in terms of the whole context of mental health, then, let's zoom in on that. We know that, yes, COVID, we know that Black Lives Matter, we know that Windrush has all had an impact upon individuals' mental health experience. Some low level anxieties, depression, and some more on the more severe side of things. But again, as I sung, we are a resilient people. Yeah, you know, my parents, they came over from Jamaica in the 50s. I was born here. And really, when we all reflectively look back on the achievements, the legacy, you know, that they have achieved, the hardship. Some families splintered, some families, you know, was drawn, you know, tighter, but really we are standing on the shoulders, you know, of our parents and foreparents. So yes, we are a very resilient people. And then just to reiterate, mutual support in today's age is vitally important. Whether you're getting it from statutory services, voluntary services, or whether it's just amongst ourselves, talking, therapies, just talking, you know, is a stress buster. So let's just keep it going. Yeah, Black people, let's just keep it going. All people, Black people, keep it going, because in doing so, we'll save our minds. So, okay then. Kirk?
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, no, I just thought part of the what we aim to do was look at all the issues that were around and prevalent right now, and try and put them all together in a performance that communicated the difficulties from you know, a black point of view, and how things can be exacerbated very quickly through actions. So yeah, that was pretty much the essence of it, and I think we all had our little input within we all provided a little bit of input from our own perceptions, and we relayed that within our individual characters, and also helped within the team for other members to portray that image. So once it all came together, it ran quite smoothly, and provided a performance from negativity which turned into something quite positive as well. I think as a team, we can show how our interactions and how how everyday occurrences, when put together, can cause, you know, a little action can cause a magnified response at the end of it. So I think for me, and I think it was a good performance, and I think it's something that we all it leaves a lasting memory to those who watched as well. And I pass it over to William.
Oh, William. Who's William? Oh, William.
William. Did it say like a William? Apologies. William.
I would say there's a thing about ignorance is bliss, because the less you know, the less you feel affected. And I think what's Black Lives Matter, Windrush, and the pandemic has highlighted the fact that we are starting to open our eyes and see what's happening around us. For example, statues are being pulled down now that represented the oppression that's been happening in this country without us really realizing it. Even articles I've read in America, going back to what Keith said, you know, the Great American Civil War, where even though the North won the war, it still has statues of the South officers in the North. It's almost like hypocrisy there. We help you win the war, but we're going to still have the statues of these great people because we still believe in them. So I think this is a time where we are going to see more, I believe, more people suffering for some form of depression, because we're becoming more aware. And we have to have somewhere where we go to where we can speak about it openly. Because sometimes, you know, depression is a state of when you don't really know it's existing within you until you act in a certain way. And then you find out why you're acting that certain way, because you're more open to about why it's affecting a certain way. So for me, this platform was ability to address all these situations, because, you know, this is a time for change. It's going to be a massive change happening, and we're going to find more and more people, I believe, are going to be suffering some, especially in the Afro-Caribbean community, going to suffer from some kind of mental breakdown or depression, because we're becoming more consciously aware of what's around us.
Well said.
Can I ask you?
Can I pass that to back to Tony?
You've done a wonderful production, and you know, it's just amazing what you guys have achieved in a short space of time. But can I ask you, where is next for BMC? What's next for you? Obviously, I take it that you might be doing more productions, but can you give the audience any insight into what they might be able to see coming up next, what you're working on, any sneak previews that they may be able to see, if they want to join, how can they get in touch with you, how would they know what you're doing next?
I'll answer that. We don't know. No, you know what? I think the way things stands at the moment is we're gonna take it organically. I suppose. I'm sure I'm speaking for, maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but I think we still want to continue the Mondays. You know, getting together and create something organic from there. In terms of the next production, it's always great to have a production very soon because it keeps the momentum going and it gets you something to work towards. So. I don't know. I think just, I think Monday's going to be a debrief, and then we take it from there. But I personally like to see another production in a very quick space of time just to keep the momentum going. And I'll pass it on to Keith.
Yeah, basically, again, I think we've proved that we are very diverse and very flexible and can adapt to change at such as very, very short notice. Because a few weeks ago, we did Kwame the Lockdown. That was about 4 weeks ago. And then Black Lives Matter and Windrush, we've adapted and retweeted the show, especially for the Mental Health Week and Black Lives Matter. So we will go with the flow. Obviously, we're going to have our Mondays, and hopefully very, very, very soon, we will all be able to meet again in person. Whether it's 2 meters, 1 meter, 0 meters, I don't know. But that would be really great.
Like we've been following that.
Sorry?
Like we've been following the 2 meters when we meet.
Yeah, 2 meters, 1.5 meters, 1 meter, confused.com. But on a serious note, we regardless of whether we can meet in person, because as Michael said, we've not actually met in person, but we've still managed to put on a production. So with technology. So where we're going from this is from strength to strength. We're going to continue to promote the Black Men's Consortium, and we will continue to promote issues and situations regarding Black men that may be a taboo, whether it's to do with sexual health, mental health, low immune, parenting, or any issues that Black men face. We will break down those barriers and we will put on shows wherever they are, north, east, south, west, and just to show everybody that we can come together and we can unite. Yes, ultimately it is a Black Men's Consortium, but the way I see it is we are one blood, so we should reunite regardless. But we will continue to go from strength to strength, and I will pass that on to. Is Michael still there?
Oh, can I jump in at some point?
Yes, because Barbara.
Hello.
Go ahead,
can you hear me?
Loud.
Okay. I just wanted to say well done to all of you. That, it's important that we continue to work together as a team and help each other. And I also wanted to point out, the importance, that we all are able to turn around and say to yeah.
Can I just ask you to introduce yourself so people know who you are?
I thought you did. Okay, I'm Barbara Lindsay, and I'm on the steering group, and I'm also on the main group because I deal with issues around mental health in the Black community. I'm not a practitioner, I'm just a volunteer in a number of groups, and mainly the work is mainly around Black men. Sorry?
Carry on.
I didn't hear you.
No, carry on.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said hurry up. Yes, and yeah, the other important thing I think we should note is that when people complain about the term Black Lives Matter, we just need to let them know that we want the same rights as anyone else and to put an end to brutality and terrorizing of the African community. We've got to stand up for ourselves and not be put off when people say, all lives matter. We know all lives matter. We're not saying all lives don't matter. We're saying Black Lives Matter because of the way we've been treated over centuries. That's me done.
Thank you, Barbara. Thank you very much.
It's okay.
Tony, are you enjoying your meal?
I'm trying. What do you make of Black Lives Matter? I mean, we all know it's a phenomenal movement that is really uniting people from across all walks of life. Black, white, pink, yellow, red. It's done amazing things to bring people together. I think the question I have is, well, we've seen Black Lives Matter before because they're not new. And I wonder whether this time round we're seeing much more of an impact, or are you seeing more of an impact when they were around many years ago? I just wondered what your views and
I can
opinions
answer that if you wish. So, Times Donald. I know Black Lives have been around before, possibly, because it started in 2013. But the difference is, this is a world phenomenon that has never happened before. Because this is the biggest movement where black, white, in the millions to the billions of people are supporting the cause of recognizing black people and the injustices that have been put upon them. But the biggest difference between now and all previous campaigns, there are actually changes happening simultaneously around the world in different countries. Different police forces are now banning the choking movements or techniques. There are people who are coming out and supporting black people you would have never dreamed of 6 months ago in terms of corporate businesses and so on. But the policies are changing. People are actually changing government rules, regulations. That is different to comparison to 60s, 70s demonstrations and campaigns. This has got a global change going on that's never been seen before.
I've got a question. Well, it's not really a question, but it's a sort of a statement from Sophia. And she says, I think it's important to look at the history of Black Lives Matter, who they are and who's funding them. Has our group looked at who's funding Black Lives Matter and what is the agenda?
Can I answer that?
Yes.
Can I answer that? Does it matter who's funding Black Lives Matter? That's the question I put to you, because at the end of the day, as long as it's making traction, as far as I'm concerned, you know, and going back to Donald in the sense that this is a time Black Lives Matter comes under a pandemic as well. This is a time of reflection. A great reflection is happening in our nation and in our people, because we've got nothing better to do. We stay at home, we're not busy anymore. We have got time to do things. I know there's rumors about who's funding Black Lives Matter and so forth, but the reality is it's still helping a lot of people, and we have to start somewhere, you know. And I think that's probably one of our greatest downfall, is that when momentum of something starts going, we try to bring it down straight away. I'm not for that. I'm saying what you can get out of it, and the traction is great with this message coming out. So therefore, for me, it's about the message, and it's the making people aware of what is going on in our society. So to me, it's irrelevant who's funding it right now, because it is making traction. People uprising, people walking in the streets and demonstrating, people having that conversation, you know, and it's all in the backdrop of this coronavirus as well. So it's all in the backdrop of the self-isolation. So yes, is it relevant? The question I'll ask back to, is it relevant who's funding it?
I would spin the question around, say who's not funding it. It's all these people make these statements. The Prime Minister's come out, Black Lives Matter. Let him put his hand in his pocket.
Exactly.
I mean, Black Lives Matter not putting their hand in their pocket. The people are putting their hand in their pocket and demonstrating. You know,
I said the Prime Minister should put his hands in his pocket. As in the government should actually come out and start funding it.
What I'm saying is Black Lives are not funding anything. Black Lives, the name is being used in many different reasons, but the thing is that the people are funding it by their actions. They're the ones who are standing up. They're the ones who are coming forward under the Black Lives Matter. That's why I said it's irrelevant who's funding Black Lives Matter, because they're not funding the movement of the people. The people doing it themselves.
Okay, so it might be irrelevant who's funded it. Okay, fair enough. I'm just sort of putting it out there. So if I wanted to go and meet the London or England representative, the people that are sort of running Black Lives Matter or governing it, or, you know, steering group or whoever it may be, where can I go to find those people in Black Lives Matter? Because I want to get behind them and support what they're doing. Where are they and who are they?
Hi, Tony.
Hello.
Tony, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
You know, over the years we've been on different protests and stuff like that and supported certain things on the grassroots level. And I would say, I'm not promoting it, but I was out there before all the drama. And I can tell you something, I think Williams touched on it. It's not even a matter of if you can link the people in the UK, most definitely. But I saw something that I'd never seen before on any protest I've ever been on. The atmosphere was chilling. The youth had a purpose, and they were uncommittal. They're saying, like, we want something to happen now. We don't care what America's doing. America's different from the UK, yeah? And from the premise of, like, what needs to happen here, we need to, as Williams mentioned it, Donald's mentioned it, we need to maximize how we can actually kind of hit the ground running and actually kind of make it count. It's like, yeah, it was very emotional being out there.
Sure.
Very
Tony,
emotional.
can I ask you a question?
I just wanted to, if anybody could answer those two questions, or does it not matter about those two questions?
The question I want to ask you, Tony, you have McDonald's and you have McDonald's have franchises McDonald's, so people go into the context of McDonald's. The point I'm trying to say here is that, does it matter, and why would you want to meet the fallen? The thing is more important for me is that you go on the streets and you demonstrate, you go and spend the black pound, which is all surfacing on the back of Black Lives Matter. I mean, the other day is about let's go and spend money in the black businesses. And that's all coming forward. And that's, to me, the most important thing. I don't need to meet the person behind Black Lives Matter. I want to know how it's affecting me and how it's driving the race of people that it's driving at the moment. And it's not just black people, it's white people as well. So it's open that kind of, why do I need to know who's running it? Because it's relevant right now.
Thank you very much for answering that. It's given me a lot of insight. I still don't really know where Black Lives Matter are for someone.
I've got the email if you want it.
If I was to direct somebody, tell them how to join up, where they are, what their plans are. I just want to be able to be in a better position to promote that work. That's all.
Sorry, can I interrupt? Just say they are on Facebook. That's not that difficult to find them.
Can I just say something? I'm very passionate about this, because why do you have to sign up with something? Why can't you just do what you're supposed to do as a black person? Walk the street, not with the skin of the color of your skin on wearing as a kind of protection to show who I am. You're just going out there doing what you got to do in life. As simple as that. Black Lives Matter, whatever you can call it. It's not about the name. It's not about joining the community. For me, I'm seeing a consciousness that is sweeping this country that I have not seen before at the backdrop of this self-isolation. People are reflective now, and that's the most important message. Why do you need to join it? I wouldn't join it. I wouldn't even join the Labour Party, the Conservative Party. I wouldn't join it at all because it's relevant to me. But what I would understand is what is affecting the people. And to me, that's most important. The focus on who they are and joining what? It's irrelevant as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
I'm sorry I kind of jumped into that because I think it's irrelevant.
I was just trying to get some insight. So if anybody came to me, I could then give them more insight about Black Lives Matter, where they could go, what their strategic plans are, who's the representative from London, and so forth and so forth. But if there is no answers for that, that's cool. I'll just tell them, look on Facebook.
I gave you the answer a minute ago.
I'll tell them to go and look on Facebook. I've got another question here.
Just did it in 2 seconds.
I've got another question here from one of the audience members. They say, I beg you to look at Black Lives Matter. They are not for black men. They believe in the destruction of black men and the black family. Look at their written agenda, policy. You will see what you're bringing up. Create your own movement, I say. I beg you. What do you say to someone like that who's making those kinds of
it's cool. it's an old practice. It's called divide and rule. Where we become successful at something, somebody's going to throw out something to take us our distraction away from our focus and the campaign. It's trivia and then exaggerated because there's a string of truth in it, but not enough to it to be an issue. It was women who started the movement. Boo-hoo. But it's the movement is made up of many people, many age groups, many genders, and so on. The capital thing they're focused on is Black Lives Matter. So the rest of it is just a distraction.
For everybody.
Totally agree with that. It's just a distraction because I saw the same WhatsApp thing you're talking about, Tony. It's about a bunch of women who, and quote, they're lesbian women who have don't give a shit about men and blah, blah, blah. But as I keep saying, that's irrelevant. The most important thing we have to focus on here is the traction this movement has done for the race, not just for black people in Britain, but black people all over the world, but also for white people as well. We have to understand that and take that. We have to focus on that. So far, Tony, you've given me 3 questions about Black Lives Matter. One of them, who, where they are, who is the founders of them, and I wonder where your question is coming from. I don't understand why you're asking these questions.
It's coming from the chat.
Is it surely it's not? I'm looking at this chat and I can't even see those questions.
Yeah, they're not to you, they're to me.
You must have different questions.
I'm just trying to find out the answers for the person who is putting them.
Tony.
Yes.
But Tony, with due respect to anybody wants to find out what Black Lives Matter, they will have to Google it. Google Black Lives Matter in London. That's all they have to do. That's all they have to do. That's just a simple thing.
Okay.
Tony.
Hello.
It's bigger than what, you know, when you start something, it's like, it gets to a stage where you have to let it go. What they've done there, they've actually pricked the conscience, and unbeknownst to them, they pricked the conscience of the whole globe. Yeah, and that now is a focus point that we should not lose sight of. It's a matter of like, what are we doing? That's important, right? America and the UK are different. For example, Hidden Colors, if you ever watched it, very, very positive. But they always kept on saying Afro-American. Remember, slavery started here. Whatever happened to America, in America, the whole architects of slavery, well, once divorced from the Portuguese, right? The architects of slavery happened in the UK. So there's a story what we must not lose sight of, that we need to tell in regards our own narrative, right? Because if we don't do that, what's going to get lost is the American narrative of what they're doing. You realize that there's a whole lot of groups they're trying to find out now, that people are trying to kind of like maximize, businesses are trying to maximize, white businesses are trying to maximize on Black Lives Matter. They see an opportunity right now, rightly or wrongly, to exploit it. Yeah, right? Forever how long it lasts, they are going to they're going to tear the what you call it out of it, right? Because here in the UK, there are businesses that are doing a whole lot of things to say that they're giving focus to Black Lives Matter. I went online and I saw this activist group that I never knew about. But when I was out there, I could see the passion, the intelligence of the youth out there. They have come from another cell within the UK, and they're serious. So no matter what Lives Matter are doing, I was walking with this girl. She's 21, 23, and she goes, "I'm going to be here out in next time." Why? Because it's my future.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, the activism of that young girl. She realized that right now, her future, whether she's been in employment and being kicked back, being university and being kicked back, being in a system and being kicked back, being told that she's nothing and being kicked back, right? That's a focus for her now to say, right, for my future generation, I'm out here and I'm going to make it count. So really and truly, aside from what America's doing, you don't need to find out who maybe they've got to say. They're unaware that right now Black Lives Matter is bigger than what they're doing in America. The focus of it is international.
Okay.
So where we're concerned, we need to make that count.
Thank you. I'm only just passing on the messages from the chat to you because
Yeah, I understand that, Tony. I'm not trying to be.
I've got another question. Got another question. It says here, we don't read or do research. That's the problem with us all. As Black people, we need to read more and grow so we can sustain what we do as a community. I think that your drama group is brilliant. How are we in the UK as Black men going to take our views and pains forward? You all mentioned Black Lives Matter non-stop in your drama, hence my question.
Can I ask you something? People always go, how do you do this and how do you do that? That's been going on in our community for God knows how long. I just remember from an early kid going to barber shop and they go asking the same, how do we do it? You know, Marcus Garvey came forward. He showed us how to do it. You know, the Black Power movement came forward. They showed us how to do it. Loads of these things, even in the UK, these kind of things come forward. I'm just saying this is a fantastic opportunity for us. Just as this gentleman said, you know, there's loads of companies out there running on the backs of Black Lives Matter because, you know, at the end of the day, they're advertising. They're showing something and they're going to make money out of it. They're going to do like, oh, everybody sees that we work for Black Lives Matter because it is the thing now. We have to capitalize on that and use it to our best abilities. In terms of education, there's a book of every single corner out there you can get. You know, if you want advice on any book, ask your friend. You know, go on Google something. These things are so simple. You can do yourselves. These questions, I always find these questions very belittling in a sense because you can knowledge yourself by reading. You can get any book you want to. And there's always a friend that's going to read a book that's going to suggest it to you or speak about a book. I mean, we got to self-educate ourselves. We can't keep asking, how do we do this? How do we do that? Because we know how to do it. We just don't implement it because we're waiting for somebody else to implement it. So I'm sorry, I'm getting a bit carried away. I had this discussion the other day. I'm a bit passionate about it right now.
Can I just say one thing, just very briefly? Hidden Colors. There's a statement in it.
Which
we don't have to have unity. We just have to have the same idea, right?
In which
one? It transcends, the group transcends religion, gender, sex, right? We're all a part of the same arm because it affects our community. So if we forge forward with the same idea, and you know, the drama group is great. You know, it's an element of other things that are happening. We can't lose. We can't lose sight of the fact that we can actually make a difference. Here, America is doing that right now. Believe me or not, they're making sure that Black Lives Matter is going to fall forward on their community. What's happening remember, we've got Brazil, we've got other places where there are Black people that are specific to what what's happening there for them. So what's happening for us in the UK, we really need not to let sight of that. We just need to band together and make this thing work. When Donald invited me into this group, I've been myself independently for the last 30 years. And I don't know if you're aware of this, Tony, supporting people individually as an independent representative. I've gone into the prisons. I've gone into the courts when they're trying to set people up. I've had to go into the mental health unit when they're trying to set up the youth and say, listen, before I leave this building, you better minute that. Because what you're going to do to that individual, you're hoping I'm not going to see. So I want a record right now with the senior before I leave this building. So all those kind of things in regards our strength and the strengths of other people, I'm willing to dovetail with that. Myself personally, I'm too busy to be involved in another organization. But this is so important right now. I don't think there's ever been a time in regards mental health and Black Lives Matter that this focus is so important We need to make this happen, not just for ourselves, for our families and our friends that are going through this thing. We need to make this work.
Mm. Mm. We do.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I think you've there's no more questions from that person, so thank you for giving them some insight. Keith, would you like to say something?
Before he falls asleep.
Oh no, I'm not asleep, but I need to watch what I say, basically. Okay, so I disagree, because I feel that...
Disagree with what, Keith?
I'm going to explain what I disagree with. I disagree. I feel strongly, more so, that the way we can only move forward in society in this world, that we need to stop being black and white. We just need to be unite. And at the moment, and with the Black Lives Matter, it's powerful. It has a meaning. What happened to is it George, the gentleman? Sorry, Floyd, who got murdered, was absolutely beyond comprehensible, disgusting. But to me, we should be focusing on all lives. We should all be equal, and we shouldn't be about white lives or black lives or Asians or black. It should just be about us coming together. And I believe personally, my view is the only way we're going to figure this situation out is if we unite as all lives are actually equal, as opposed to black lives or white lives. That's my view. Whether people understand that or agree with it, that's up to them. But that's my view. Bearing in mind, from my point of view, my personal situation is I've been married to a Caucasian, a white lady. I have mixed race children, and I have mixed race children who are saying, "Dad, well, where does that leave me? Because I'm not black, I'm mixed race." So they are kind of they are looked at the forgotten society at the moment, because it's not like mixed race matters. It's black. They're not black. They're mixed race. So they are kind of forgotten generation in some way. That's how they feel. And how do I explain to them that, no, son, you are still you do mean, you have the meaning. What happens to you is as powerful as happens to black people and white people. So what I'm trying to say is, from my point of view, is that this whole thing is just getting crazy from my point of view. That's why I tend to keep my views to myself, because a lot of people don't agree with me, which is their right. But my aim is to focus on all lives that matter. Even if it takes another generation, I'll probably be dead by then. But we need to focus on equality for everybody, whether you're black or white, whether you're gay, straight, bisexual, I don't really care. We should all be one. And the only way we're going to live together in perfect harmony, from my point of view, may be wrong, is that we focus on uniting as one, not as black. Yes, we are hard done by, don't get me wrong, and I know that, but we need to focus on the future. The past is never gonna go away, and we're never gonna forget the past. And the past is powerful, but what's more powerful, in my point of view, is the future. And the future for me is that we all unite. That's how I say.
Can I just add something?
Take Barbara, and then I'll do Willen.
Okay. As far as I'm concerned, there's only one race, and that's the human race.
Is that
okay?
Yes.
When we talk about Black Lives Matter, when we said Black Lives Matter, yeah, we never said only Black Lives Matter. We know all lives matter. We just need your help, meaning the wider audience, we said. We just need your help with Black Lives Matter, for Black lives are in danger. That is why all this has come about. That's me done.
Okay, but okay, now...
No, Willen, hang on, Willen, hang on. Go on, Keith.
Okay, all right, as a black man of 51 years, I have had a lot of persecution and a lot of negativity from white people, but I've also had a lot of negativity from my own race, my own colour, black people. Now we need for us to build that bridge as well. Why are we harming each other of our own colour and our own skin?
White people do it all the time. What's the big deal? Whenever black people do something to another black person, it's a big deal. When a white person does it, it's not a problem.
Well, I'm just explaining something. Excuse me, I'm just explaining something from my point of view.
Please.
So, what is there to be pleased about? I mean, it's nothing to be pleased about. I'm just explaining something that I'm just saying.
I didn't say there was something to be pleased about. I was just using the phrase, please.
Right. Yes,
Okay.
and I'm explaining that for us also to come together and strong. Back in the day when I was a teenager, from people I didn't even know, it was a yo bro. And as a bro, as in brother, we were stronger because we looked after each other. Now, why am I being persecuted by my own colour for just maybe because of the way I speak or just because of whatever?
Irish people are persecuted by white people too. No black, no Irish, no dogs.
I'm not talking. Excuse me. I'm not talking about white people. I'm talking about the people of the same colour as myself. That's what I'm referring to.
I understand what you're saying.
Sorry. Look, if we're going to conduct this, we should not interrupt each other. Otherwise, I'm going to shut this down. If you can't not interrupt and be respectful, I will shut it down. Please wait until the person is finished, then you can reply.
It's passion, Tony. I don't think people are willfully trying to be disrespectful.
I'm sure we're all big people here and we can have a decent conversation without interrupting each other because that's disrespectful. So let's just...
Keith, are you finished? Do you want to continue? Can I just say something? Is it possible?
As long as you're not going to interrupt anybody, that's fine.
I tend to agree slightly with Barbara. I think we have this notion that if a black person does something to us, it's the worst thing that can ever happen to us. And I've noticed that with my generation, from my mom's point of view. She often will have this conversation. She go, when a black person does this, it's da-da-da-da-da-da. I said, Mom, white people treat white people the same as black people. They are humans. And I think Barbara started with a very poignant point. We're humans at the end of the day. And on to the point that Keith made about all lives matter. In an ideal world, all lives matter. But here in the Western world, unfortunately, all lives do not matter. That's how we've come to this point. Yes. That's why we see the likes of Floyd getting brutally killed by the police officers. That's why we had Stephen Lawrence, his investigation taking 19 years before somebody's prosecuted. That's what we're talking about. Ideally, yes. Ideally, love to have all lives matter. But what I love about all lives matter is white people also realizing that black lives are not on the equal path they are. That's a beautiful thing in a sense. So this whole notion that let's have this rosy thing, let's live in this world where everybody's lives matter. It's not. The reality is, if you look at the statistics, black lives doesn't matter in the Western world as such. And that needs to be corrected. There needs to be a shift on that. It's like, it's interesting. I was listening to Martin Luther King speech, that great speech, I Had a Dream. And he talked about, little black kids and little blah, 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 blah. You all know the speech, roughly bits of it. By the time Martin Luther King came to when he was about to get assassinated, but I think a week before, his speech changed because he realized that, he's trying to lift up black people as well as white people. The irony here is that the black people need lifting up more so than the white people. That's the reality we're dealing with here. Ideally, the ideal is that we're all equal. It's not the case in this Western world. And in regards to America is the worst and the best in this situation because America has the worst racism than anybody in a Western world context than anybody else. So no, I don't agree with you, Keith, in that respect. I think Black Lives Matter need to be taken a bit more seriously. If you look at the statistics, if you look at the statistics, black kids are suffering at school. You're working essentially more black people in prisons or asylums. There's a disparity between black and white, and you cannot ignore that fact. That's all I'm saying. To you, Keith, you had your finger up.
Can I just interject there, please?
No, wait, Selwyn, please, Keith, if you can, Selwyn, you can go.
So, I hear what you're saying, but okay, perfect scenario. If me and you, William, were working together, side by side, we're stronger and united, yes? Would you agree to that?
Yeah.
Okay, but if me and you were at loggerheads with each other, disrespecting each other, arguing, fighting, stabbing each other, then we're kind of weak, aren't we? Yes. That's my point. I'm talking about. All I'm trying to talk about is you and me as people of color. People will say uniting and being stronger, as opposed to us or people of color fighting each other. That's what my point is. I understand what's going on with the white situation. I understand that. But my point is, I'm also trying to explain that I've had people who are white who've been disrespectful and racist towards me. I understand that. But I've had people of the same color as me. And I'm thinking, well, why are you doing that? We should be coming together and unite. We could be stronger and more positive together to maybe fight the system that is persecuting us. That's what I'm trying to say. I understand.
Selwyn.
But can I?
No, Selwyn. I did promise Selwyn. I promised Selwyn. And then William.
Keith, everything that you say is relevant. There's no unrelevance to what you're saying. And I concur and I accept everything that you're saying. But also, if you look at, for example, Sean Riggs, my friend, and all the other people and all those other cases at that one particular establishment up until present day have not been resolved. Yeah. If you see I mean, like, for example, the agenda right now is Black Lives Matter. If you know us individually, you'll realize that we're around a whole heap of people, just like yourself. Yeah. We must not lose sight of what you're saying, because it's important. And Barbara, as you know, and Donald, as you know, it came up in the Black Five meeting earlier on this week. Yeah, with one individual saying similar things to yourself, and we have to take that on board. Yeah, but again, as the bigger arm of what Black lives are, my family are all colors of the rainbow. Yeah, but in regards to this issue, right, and what we need to do, we need to have a one view, a modus operandi, one mission in regards to what we're doing. I'm not going to discount anything that you say, Keith, because if you hear my story, running from my life and all that kind of stuff, not growing up inside London, you can hear my accent's different. Yeah, I was the only Black guy in the school, only Black guy in the university. So all those things that you're talking about, I understand you totally. I don't want you to lose sight that what you're saying is important. We said that in the group, the Black Five. Barbara concurred, Donald concurred. What you're saying is important. Yeah, we're not going to lose sight of that. Yeah, but also we must understand the fact is we are treated unfairly, and the umbrella is that we are treated unfairly. Your points need to come forward, and you have a right to say what you're saying. Yeah, but we need to work together here, because otherwise we can't win.
That's it. That's my point. If we work together, if we all work together, us of colour, then we will be stronger if we work together. If we're not going to work together and we're going to argue with each other and fight with each other, then we're weak. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so there's a question here.
Can I just say one thing?
I understand you.
Guys,
can I just say one thing? The problem I found with this kind of discussion is that people always go from a personal point of view.
Yes.
It's a personal, it's basically, my experience is like, I've had Black people do this, so I'm coming from a personal point of view. And I'm saying, look at the facts. That's all I'm saying. Because like many people, when I first came to this country, I was 9. The majority, I went to a school called Doverwater in Acton. It was majority Black kids there. And I came there at a Trini accent, and they took the pee out of me. They ripped into me. They called me African of all sorts. This is back in the day. Now, I've grown up realizing these people had no knowledge of what the rest of the world is like. And that's why I'm able to say, okay, that's not a good example in terms of a personal point of view. I also say in the same thing, Keith, we got together in a drama group of X amount of Black guys, and we showed that we can work together. And there's always, you know, people always come back, well, we can't, but we can. There are always pockets of black people who are working together. You know, you can go to the churches, you can go to the this, that, there are pockets of people working together. And they're all working for the similar outcome. The only difference is that we took it from different angles, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So for me, in terms of Black Lives Matters, it's so important that we are put on top the agenda there, because we've been held back for such a long time. And anybody who says otherwise, that all lives matter, I'm afraid this may sound kind of kind of a blasted you keep, but it's not meant to be that way. I'm just saying that our lives is it's very important in this Western world than any other race in this country, because we are lagging behind statistically, and that's what I'm going from. The facts that we are lagging behind. And you may come up and people may come up and say, oh, black people, but white people are actually more than black people killing black people, and that is a fact. The thing is that when one black person kills another black person, it looks like every single black person is killing everyone. I grew up in the 90s, and when a black person reported that he mugged someone, every single black person were muggers. I'm used to all of that, but I don't take that on board, because I know it's not true. I know it's not true. I just know it's not true. So that's my stance on it, and that's why I think it's important that we sort of celebrate the fact that this movement is really putting us in the forefront across the world. And even Africa now is taking up this as well, because of what countries have done in terms of vaccination and all that. Even all that, it's all coming out now. And there will be a change. There's a conscious change changing. And I'm so appreciative of that. And that goes back to Black Lives Matter, because it's all coming out. And it's great that it's all coming out. But we are definitely need to be up there in terms of, yes, there needs to be change. And yes, we're getting into that concept that we are important and we need to be recognized as being important. And another thing we talked about, another thing, there's so many statues around England. You talk about the past and the future. There's so many statues in the present that make us realize that we are so invisible here. There's statues in Park Lane of dogs fought in the war. But how long did it take us to have statues of black people fought in the war? So if you talk about the past is always going into the future. And if you look around in London, even in Oxford the other day, they had a statue of Cecil, the South African government, Cecil Rowe. A statue of him was in Oxford University. This man was the man who designed the apartheid in South Africa. So the past is a reflection on the future, the way it stands, and we need to correct the now in order to go forward.
There's a statement in the chat here that I need to read out. It says, if we want unity, we have to start with ourselves. We have to see each other as brothers and sisters first. We don't treat each other humanly. We have to matter to each other and one another. Then we can together dismantle this destructive framework of race. If not, we will be running on the mouse wheel for the next 500 years.
People stop doing sweeping statements. Those are just sweeping statements, and then we take on board these sweeping statements. How can you say that we don't get on with each other? That's such massive sweeping statement I've heard for several decades in this country. It's ridiculous. You tell me black people can't get along. If they can't, we would not be having a discussion. We would not be.
So I can hear your passion, Willen, and your emotion. And
statements.
Can I finish?
Sorry.
I just wonder whether well, they go on to say, then why are young people killing each other then? Who did they learn it from?
Oh my God, come on, Akala discussed this the other day on things.
Guys, can I say something personally? Because you haven't really heard my voice. I just feel that it's important that we as a group of people, humans here, having a lovely chat on a Sunday evening, try to educate every one of us. I educate you, you educate me, do you know what I mean? It's all about sharing insight and bringing awareness and just raising that consciousness of what is out there, what people's beliefs are, rather than kind of fighting each other down. We just want to express what we want to share, and someone might disagree with what you're sharing. But at the end of the day, surely it's about education and raising awareness and giving people an insight or a perspective that they possibly didn't know from before. So yes, you might be slagging off somebody, but you know, if someone doesn't know, it's our job to educate them, surely, isn't it?
I don't think it's a matter of slagging people off.
Can I say something?
Of course.
Sorry, Willen, have you finished?
Barbara, sorry, I just find this discussion really gets to me because I find it's always sweeping generalizations. And I might as well listen to Piers Morgan. He does that same nonsense on daytime TV, and we all take that on board and say this reflects the black people. I have not personally met that volume of black people. I'm thinking, oh, you guys are going to kill each other. You guys are going to do it. I don't want two black kids walking in the streets killing each other. I don't see that. Maybe my head is in a thing, but I find this sweeping generalization that comes that often, and it's a minority that comes up with these questions that affect the majority, as far as I'm concerned. Sorry,
I agree with you, Willen. When black people harm one another, it's 10 times worse than when white people harm each other. What people don't realize is these children, young black boys, are born here. And they're not killing each other because they are black. They're just doing what the white guys do to one another. When the Krays were around, did anybody say, oh, they're killing white people? Nobody said anything. They did some terrible things to one another, but that's okay. But when a black person does it, it's bad. And what I'm trying to say is a lot of the black boys born here are just following, other boys. They're not doing it to one another because they are killing black on black, Bob, as I call it. We don't talk about, white on white crime in the same way we talk about Bob. And I'm just getting sick and tired of it, okay? We just need to educate each other and teach our youngsters what is right and what is wrong. But as I said, a lot of them, because they're born here, they're just following other boys. They're not doing it, as I said, because they're black to one another. And I'm just tired of this thing, about us doing more harm to one another. They're just following other boys. It's as simple as that.
I think it's worse than that. It's just
Can I say something briefly,
reporting.
Tony?
Sorry?
Tony?
Go ahead.
Can I say something? We got to realize, like, for example, my friends are music people. They came from this thing with the terrorists. They were all football hooligans. Before that thing happened down in the city, I spoke to certain factions and they said that they weren't going there because they're more unified now because they work with all different people and they're in the music business. We have to be very careful when we let people generalize statements. Every Saturday, when the football season comes back on, right, it's never reported. Millwall, right, there's certain football teams, right, the amount of violence that goes on, it doesn't hit the airwaves. We must be very careful when what actually is disseminated to us through the media, right? I can tell you about certain football teams in East London, whatever, and what happens every week. You don't hear about the stabbings and the whatever that goes on the terrace. It happens every week.
Yeah.
Yeah? We don't hear about that. So when the black community is targeted, right, we have to be careful with what you call it, spurious media. What happened? There's a few parties on the south side of North London. Yeah, no one spoke about Eastbourne. Yeah, no one spoke about South End, Bournemouth. Thousands and thousands and thousands of people on the beach. It happened on the same day. What did they do? And the media always do this. They turn up at a function with Sky and all the whatever, and start to film. How comes there was something happening on one of these beach parties that never even hit the news until 3 or 4 days later? By that time, certain places in South London were targeted. So what do people, they must be hooligans. So we have to be very careful about what's fed to us through the media, fed to us through the news, and the narrative that's being given to black people. We have to be very careful about what we hear.
Okay.
Last 3 months, I have turned off the news. I don't listen to the radio because there's too much spurious things happening. Be careful with what you hear. And why it's disseminated.
I'm gonna hold you there, Selwyn. So I want to kind of try to wind up this event now. So can people just want to say any closing remarks, any final things that they want to say, just to kind of end, so we can all go off.
Close on
ways. Sorry, I don't like to be interrupted. Let me just finish what I was saying. So I just want to try to close off tonight's event on a positive note, in any shape or form, but if people can just kind of make some final remarks on anything that they'd like to share. But once you've shared, that's it. We will try to wind this up because it is getting way past my bedtime. So who would like to kick us off to?
I was starting to say something, so that's why I thought you'd come to me. Partly a little bit of what Selwyn said, but the other side of it is that we can't just switch off from it, the news or whatever, and just ignore it. We have to start complaining. If they don't hear our voices, they'll carry on doing it. So that the last times I heard this kind of stuff on BBC Channel 4, I wrote to them. Then I passed it on to a few other people and a few groups to write to them. We need to speak up to stop it happening. But also the bigger thing right now, this movement is our time. And I've said this to people a number of times. You got to be able to turn around to your grandchildren or children and tell them, what did you do? What did you do at that time to make the most of this movement and make a difference? That's my simple thing. Next.
Can I be next?
Yeah, this is your final word. We're going to try and wrap up. Thank you.
It's just a quote. A people without the knowledge of their past history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots. Marcus Garvey. Done.
I just like to quote my own personal quote: "The people that name you will always keep you down. So you got to learn to name yourselves." That's all I have to say on that. I pass on to Keith.
I don't have a quote. All I would like to say is, why is it acceptable for people of colour to call me the N-word when white people, if they call me the N-word, they're racist? From my point of view, I don't like the N-word regardless of what colour you are, but it's acceptable for people of colour to call me that, and it's fine.
It's not acceptable.
But it's widely used amongst the black people to use it in music, in just hello. They just say it as normal conversations. Nothing's done by it. But if I mention it, then it's like, well, what's your problem? Well, I don't like to be rephrased as yo my duh, yo my duh, yo my duh. But nothing's done by it.
No,
Keith, I'm sorry, I don't have to come back, but Keith, there's a lot of singers and comedians are now dropping the N-word. It is dropping now, like literally. All my friends are dropping that word.
Yes.
It's dropping. Right mango's dropping.
My point wasn't whether they're dropping it. My point was, why is it still acceptable for people?
But my point is not acceptable anymore. That's my point.
All the time. That's the point.
It's not acceptable. Some people accept it, but it's not acceptable.
But nothing's done about it, though, is it?
It is. I just said to you that even what's his name? What's his name? The guy got really burned. The comedian from the '60s in America. He used to chat a lot.
Pryor. That's Richard Pryor.
Even Richard Pryor dropped the N-word. Yeah. Even he was the king of comedian, and he dropped it because you realize.
So you listen to a lot of music nowadays. I'm a DJ. You listen to a lot of music. Do you know what? As a DJ, it's very, very extremely difficult for me to get songs. Songs are in the charts. Even Justin Bieber, Madonna, even Michael Jackson has the N-word in it. And trying to edit that word out is extremely difficult. So what I'm trying to say as a DJ, regardless of the fact that yes, people may be kind of drawing it down, but people still are using that word, and yet nothing is done by it. They're not being branched out.
Well then, Keith, my question to you is, what are you doing about it? If that record has it,
that reason I mention it is because I think the word should not be used. I don't like being referred to as that person. As that.
Keith, from my point of view, my kids are not allowed to use that word. They're not allowed to play music in my house with that word.
Yeah,
and
you hear those songs all the time. Them songs even played on Kiss. They use the N-word.
Yeah, but the point I'm trying to say is that... guys, I'm getting this is heating up
Can I
again.
just add something very quickly? Can I just add something very quickly? It is up to us to educate.
Cool down your temper, youth man, will and...
Okay, can I just add something? Tony, can I just add something very quickly?
Yes, of course, Barbara, go for it.
Yeah, all I would say is that it's down to us to educate people. If they come up to you and they say something or use the word nigger, you educate them, you tell them, you know, why it is wrong. That's what I've done. I don't blow off when they carry on. I just say to them, do you know where that comes from? You know what it means? It's a Latin word. A lot of people don't know that. And I explain to them the roots of it and why it is inappropriate. And they apologize and they say, thank you. So instead of moaning about it, what we should do...
I'm moaning about it. All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm moaning about it.
Educate the youth.
But even a caller has dropped that word in his music. So it's been dropped left, right, and center. That's all I'm saying. It's been dropped.
Can we
A lot of comedians are dropping it. A lot of singers are dropping it. They're all dropping that word. And when I hear that, for me, from my point of view, from somebody like me, if I have a song that has the N word in it, I don't want to listen to it. Simple as that. It's not coming in my house because I have the power to buy that music or listen to that music. It starts with me. So that's my contribution to dropping that word.
Can we find a way to close with some positive kumbaya?
Sorry, Tony. Tony, I haven't had a chance to say something. I locked off for a second. Just briefly, yeah? When you're rising to greatness, always be aware that you get this, what call it, deflection. The deflection is stopping us from doing what we need to do. So, Keith, if I spoke to you about all what you're talking about, you'd realize I do understand what you're saying. But we need to win for the next generation. We need to be together. We need to be united. Yeah, and I can understand conversations crossing where people are speaking. Two people are speaking. We're black people. You ever been in a black house of people when they're talking? All we know the root. It's not. We're not trying to offend anybody by talking across each other. So, as you said, be respectful, Tony. I don't think it's a matter of that. Yeah, there's passion and there's a lot of important things that have been said. And you know, I'm not offended by anything that anybody says. I've taken everything on board. So we put that into a nice little bowl and we forge forward. Yeah, that is the most important thing. Because Keith, I understand what you're saying, right? In regards to your next generation, our next generation. I'm not fighting for myself here. I'm fighting for all of them, right? And I don't believe in this mixed race adage, right? It's melanin. People are sunbathing right now. What is a freckle? It's a piece of melanin. If you look it up, it's melanin. So how anybody wants to misconstrue or say anything that we've heard before, I've got to be very careful. My opinion is not a universal opinion. My opinion comes from my personal experience. And it's noted, but we have to move forward. We can't let ourselves get sidetracked with all these different versions or stories of us. We have to be united. And I really believe we can forge forward and win. That is the most important thing. Nothing else. Light, dark, whatever, you're part of the black community. And realize, Keith, you're welcome here. I'm saying that from my heart. You're welcome here.
Where?
We have to welcome each other and we have to move forward. I do understand your stories, most definitely. It came up in the Black 5 group. We have to move forward and not get distracted by all this media swath left, right, and center. It's stopping us from going towards our goal. The more we talk in cross purposes, we're wasting time.
Guys, we're going to
That's
have to
me.
kind of wind up, you know, and leave it there. Thank you so much for tonight. It's been a real insightful discussion. I've learned a lot. It's given me lots to think about in terms of putting on the stage next, to continue the debate and the complexities and the contradictions of the Black condition. So thank you. Giving me lots of notes on my notepad to look further into. Does anybody want to say anything before we finally close? Because I've said that 10 minutes ago and we're still here. Just goes to show. But I just wanted to allow space for anybody to just to finally say something. Not too long, but just to wind us up and send us on our way. And I'll try and find some appropriate music in the meantime.
No, Tony, not your music, mate, please.
Briefly, thank you, everybody. Thank you. Briefly, every last one of you. Love, peace, and unity. Let's forge forward and make the dream work.
Amen to that.
Amen. Emancipate ourselves from mental slavery. Amen.
One race superior.
We got rehearsals tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock, guys.
Be brief.
6 o'clock tomorrow evening, debrief.
Discredited.
Everything is war.
Everywhere is war.
Good night, my brothers and sisters.
Thank you very much. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. God bless you. Take care of yourselves and love yourself and love one another. Thank you. Amen.
Bye-bye.
Peace, unity, forward.
Take care.
Man's skin is of no more significance than the color of his eye. Miss a war. That's until the basic human rights are equally guaranteed to all without regard to race. But it's a war. That's until that day. The dream of lasting peace, world citizenship.
Oh, I thought you were going to rewind it, Tony. DJ.
On a go in your yard.
DJ, come with a selection, man.
Easy, but you gotta pay me, bro. You gotta pay me.
Reciprocate that phrase, Tony.
What a wonderful evening.
Without regard to race, but it's a war. That's until that day, the dream of lasting peace, world citizenship, rule of international morality, will remaining but the illusion to be pursued, but never attained.
Just to say thank you and good night.
Yes. Good night, Barbara. Real pleasure talking to you. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Look after yourself.
And you.
Bye, Barbara.
Bye-bye.
Yo, black is what? Black is great. Black is someone that they want to imitate. Hear what I'm saying? Make no mistake when I say that I'm proud to be black all day. Okay, let's chat about racing ting. Heads in a different space and ting. If you're black or mixed racing ting. Too long we've been facing things that need to stop. Put the federal cops. It's all good when a black man drops, but it's not cool when a man gets to the top. What? When I walk into the shop, why am I getting watched like I came to rob? Wait, all them fancy things in your museum got one question. Where did Tony? I love it, man. Won't put nothing above it, man. I'm black. Cause of my colour, man. They think that I'm another man. I'm black. That's my brother and my sister from the motherland. Black. You can't silence me, I'm black. They wanna judge me cause I'm black. I love it, man. Won't put nothing above it, man. I'm black. Cause of my colour, man. They think that I'm another man. I'm black. That's my brother and my sister from the motherland. Black. You can't silence me, I'm black. They wanna judge me cause I'm black. I love it, man. I love it, man. I love it, man. Won't put nothing above it, man. I'm black. That's my brother and my sister from the motherland. Black. My colour, man. They think that I'm another man. It's not black versus white. It's just us against what's not right. It's not changing overnight, but nobody's going down without a fight. Gotta teach yourself more without a doubt in front of the people, not outside. Out of the window, we're being polite. I don't know who's giving you the green light, but that's not cool. More time for the people trying. No time for a racist fool. Got no faith in the system.